Hey everybody, welcome back to a video. In this one we're going to learn about switch case in JavaScript. So before going into the video, I would appreciate you guys liking and subscribing the video and feel free to comment. So let's go into the topic. So first, basically this switch case is kind of like a conditional statement. So the picture you see on the screen is an example of how the switch case should work, and it does kind of look like a conditional statement like the flowchart, but it has a lot of cases and something like default right there. So many people might not understand this, but even though you don't understand, it's fine. So we're gonna learn this in today's video, so you don't have to worry about that. So first, let's start off by having our output variable, and let's just have that document dot get element by ID, and then I'm gonna have the result inside this, just like that. And then in this, basically the scope doesn't matter, so I can just use let, and then I can just have a variable. I'm just gonna name it fruit, and then I'm gonna keep it apple to keep it simple. And then we're gonna have our switch case. So basically first you're gonna have something called the switch, and there we go. So let's hover over it and see what it says. So basically it's kind of like a conditional statement, so for some reason it's showing that, so we don't have to worry about that. And now we're gonna have our parentheses, and then I'm just gonna show you guys like an example of how this should look like. So here are things should be there, so expression or something if you want to say, so, or let's just say the variable you want to like check it or something. So we are, and then you're gonna have these curly braces or normal braces to say, and then you're gonna have your cases. So case, and then you can keep in a string or whatever. I'm just gonna name it case 1, and then you're gonna have your code. And then just like that, you're gonna have a case 2, and then you're gonna have a code, and then you're gonna have, after your cases all are done, you can have a default case, just like that, and then you're gonna have your code. So this default case is gonna work whenever it's kind of like an else statement, which we learn in the if else statements or our conditional statements. It's kind of like an else statement. So if any of these cases are not true, it's gonna go to this one, and then it's gonna give us our output on this default. And now let's go ahead and write our code. So I'm just gonna delete this because I don't need this right now. So I'm just gonna say switch. I'm just gonna say our fruit because that's why we created that, right? And then I'm just gonna have my first case. So let's just say the fruit is it might be anything. So I'm just gonna say banana, and let's just do that. And there we go. And for this you have to use a colon, and I forgot to mention before, but you have to use a colon. And then after this you can have your code. So I'm just gonna say output dot inner HTML plus equals, and then we can just have our fruit. So let's just say the fruit is, and then I'm just gonna say our fruit right there, and there we go. So that's our first case. So I'm just gonna copy this and just make like 3 cases or so. So let's just do that real quick. First case and our last case, and we're gonna have a default case later, so let's just not forget about that, mango. And that's my second case, and we can keep it the same. And then I'm just gonna keep it watermelon, and there we go. See, we have our 3 cases. If you want, you can have more, so if you want, but I'm just gonna take 3. And then our default case, which is basically kind of like our else statement, is gonna have our output. So let's just say default, and then for this you should not have something like mango or something, so you should not have those. You can directly just say default, and then you can have your code. So I'm just gonna say output dot inner HTML, and then equals, I'm just gonna say the fruit is not in the list because we didn't have the fruit, so we can just say the fruit is not in the list or so. Let's give our plus equals. And I'm just gonna put these semicolons because I need them, because that's basically gonna say a statement is over and stuff, so that's why I need that. And you don't have to though, but it's good practice to have those. And we have our things. So basically I would probably guess you guys should understand. If you didn't, you can probably replay the video and understand it. So now let's go to our HTML file, and here we're gonna have our doc type HTML and our HTML tag, and then we're gonna have our body tag. And then after this we can have our script tag, just like that, source, and then we're gonna give our source as index.js, and then have an ending thing, script tag. And after this, we are almost about to forget, we have to have our paragraph tag or our ID, which is basically result, because we have to give us or to make them show their output. So first I'm just gonna keep it h2, and I'm gonna keep an ID the result because we have it right there, and that should be it. So let's just delete this, put it right here. And there we go, we have our output everything and stuff, or to say our code. And let's just open this with live server, and hopefully this better work. So let's just see. As you see, the fruit is not in the list because apple is not right here, so that's why we said the fruit is not in the list. And that's basically an example of this, these fruit and stuff. So basically it's kind of like a switch case thing, but we're basically using your fruit. And you can change this anything you want. So if you want, you can change it to a different one, and then you can do that. Or if you want, you can change. If you, I'm just saying, if you're free to change these. And let's see some more thing called common code block. So this common code block is gonna basically say common things. So let's just have something like here. So let's just say case. And this is basically most of the time used by many people, because whenever people don't want to write all the code and then they just want to make two cases, okay, they're gonna use this. So first we're gonna have our case A, and then we're gonna have that, and then I'm just gonna have something like this. So we're gonna have case B, or to say our apple and stuff. So I'm just gonna show you guys how it should look like. Case B and your code, and then you're gonna basically end this by having a break statement, because sometimes the code doesn't the code just prints everything or just gets everything, so we don't want that. So that's why we're basically gonna use a break statement. So now let's just delete this and write a real code. So let's just remove this, all this right here, because still there we don't need it. And this is how it should work. So first our case apple, and just like that we have our case. And then this might be anything, so basically this is gonna say even though if it's apple or this kind of case. So let's just have our banana case too, and it's gonna basically go to this one, output dot inner html. We're gonna have the fruit is, and then we're gonna just say the fruit. So let's just say the fruit, and there we go. So you can have many of these, and it's always a good practice to have a break statement. So let's just have our break statement probably right here. And there we go, we have our break statement. And we're gonna have more cases if you want, so I don't want to though, so we can just have it. And then we're gonna go to our default case. So let's go to our default, and let's go right here, and then just say output dot inner html. The code or the fruit is not in the list. Oh, I just typed the wrong. The fruit is not in the list. And there we go, so we have everything done. And now let's go ahead and see with our live server real quick. And there we go, the fruit is banana. So that's how this thing works. So that's it for the switch cases, and I hope you understand. So that's it for today's video. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.